Good evening, good evening, good evening. I got my brothers on with me right now. I am so excited about another opportunity to change the narrative. Tonight, we're going to be talking about fixing what we broke, becoming an answer to the problems that we started out with. I got my boys on with me. We're going to talk tonight candidly about our faith, about our ministries, about the things that are taking place in our lives today. We are called Ink to Ink. Incarceration to Incorporation. I'm grateful for my host, my co-host. They're absent today. My boy Julius Hall, who has given us this platform, All Things Relevant Media. I'm also thankful for AB, who came up with this idea of incarceration to incorporation, and my homegirl Marie Jones, always on our side, helping us to understand things from all views. So tonight, why are we here? We are here because as returning citizens, what we desire to do is change the narrative. So often, people are telling us that automatically when someone returns from prison, that they go right back into the prison system. And that isn't true. There are so many people right now that are successful, whether it's relational, occupational, employment-wise, however they are successful, and we have a platform to get their stories out because we believe that our stories change things. So without further ado, boys, what's going on? I see I got my boy Jid on and my boy Fred. So Fred, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Well, man, I'm Fred Green. I'm a formerly incarcerated individual. Spent most of my young adult life in and out of the prison system. But now I'm a clinical social worker. So I like to say from a dormitory to a spacious house, from a pack out to living in and eating in fine dining restaurants. So also, I want to share that I am a success story. You know, it's been 20 years for me. So I'm not a statistic, and so I want to share that with people because God is no respect of person. The same sustaining power that he used to help me get back on track, he will use it for each and every one of us.
True that. Jid, tell us who you are.
Hey, good evening, everybody. My name is Bruce Hodge. I'm a returned citizen. I served 22 years in the penal system. I've been out 13 years now. I currently work with OAA, ACES, Tyro, and a credible messenger, and I am a successful business owner since my return.
And I got to say something, gentlemen. Myself, I'm also a returning citizen. After 26 years of incarceration, as these men have stated, we broke some things before, but now we are given an opportunity to fix it or at least become a part of the solution. And so that's what we'll be talking about tonight. We'll be talking about faith. We'll be talking about our foundation. We'll be talking about the things that we're doing out there in society, outreaching. And so what I want to do is I want to start with you first, Jit. Tell me a little bit about your transition from incarceration. Was it smooth or difficult? And how did you lead up to where you are now? You can also tell us what OAA stands for and a little bit about what you do.
All right. My transition from prison to a free society, it was midway. It wasn't too hard, but it wasn't too easy. A lot of the things that we were told in prison about groups that we could go to, instance, I found out that they weren't in existence. Uh, Finding a job after having no history, that was a struggle. And just dealing with my psyche, just the trauma of doing so much time and coming in at a young age and coming out as a middle-aged person, that in itself was a hurdle. And I started dealing with reentry prior to my release. Started mentoring. I had a lifeless mentoring program at one of the institutions that I was in, and my mind state was, well, let me back up. My transition came when I finally gave up on trying to do things myself, when I broke down in that cell one night and dropped those crocodile tears, and I told God, I can't do this. I done tried it with the money. I done tried it with trying to finesse this or finesse that. I can't do it no more. And I'm not gonna say it was instantaneously, but he gave me a peace, and he gave me a selflessness, to whereas I looked at my situation as a chance to teach others that they wouldn't make the same mistake as I. And I looked at it, maybe I was there so I could reach another young brother and tell him, hey man, look, I got a life sentence. Don't be me. And so, and working with brothers in now, being a baby in God, a baby in Christ, I grew up in the church, but I really didn't understand the Bible or understood the powers of God. I looked at it, the Bible was just a book of stories. But when he showed me and his blessings and his grace start manifesting in my life, that's when things started to change. Because first he changed my heart, and then he changed my mind, then he changed my walk.
I like that. Let me start right there. First, he changed your heart, then he changed your mind, and then he changed your walk. I like that process, and I want you to flush that out a little more. And so I'm going to give you an opportunity to get them thoughts ready. First, he changed your heart, then he changed your mind, and it followed through your walk. But while you're getting yourself together, I want you, Fred, you come in and tell us a little bit about what's going on. And while you're telling us, I want to give a shout out to Tisha Fulton all the way in Las Vegas. She's listening in. And Marie Jones, our co-host, she's telling us good afternoon, everyone. She loves what we're doing right now. So Fred, tell us a little bit while he gets his thoughts ready. Tell us who you are and what you're doing, your transition, and also your foundation.
My transition was it was difficult. I came home in 2000. There was no programs that I knew of, I would say, but I didn't think it was any programs that was available for returning citizens. The perception out here was that people who got out went back. So I was on a mission to change that perception, because later on I learned it is public perception that drives public policy. So the laws and the things that keep people in prison, or the criminalization especially of people of color, is because of public perception. So I thought prison was a badge of honor, to be honest. Everybody I grew up with in the neighborhood had been to prison. People prepared me for what to do when I got to prison. So I thought it was a badge of honor to go to prison. I wanted to get my rep up, and after a while, like the brother said, while in prison, I met that experience. I had that conversion experience. And when I cried out to God, he changed my whole thought process. I came home with that same thought process, and he gave me strong drive and determination. And my adage was, if I could take what I learned in the streets, the same hustle, the same drive that I had in the streets up before the sunrise first to hit the block, I could take and apply that to my new life. And that's what I did. I used that same drive. Sometimes I worked 21 hours a day. I lied on application because during that time it was no ban the box. Ban the box hadn't hit here yet. So it was no opportunities for justice impacted people. So even to go to school, you couldn't go to school. You couldn't get FAFSA. You couldn't get you couldn't get food stamps. You couldn't get anything to help you. So I had to lie on everything. And I said, if they catch it, they can't take the knowledge from me. Now, I'm not advocating for you to do that because you don't have to do that yet. People like Julius, people like this brother, people like myself, we're out here, boots on the ground, opening up doors of opportunity. And I just want to encourage everybody, the support is here. You never seen a podcast that was full of justice impacted people. Right now, I'm working with Savannah Technical College, who got a $4 million grant. Well, let me back up. I kept driving, kept going to school. I stumbled up on a master's in social work. All right. Through that master's in social work, it trumped my record. Education is the currency. Education is the equalizer. So I was able to get into places. I even had a job offer that was based off of my background with the city of Savannah. So the doors that God would open up for you, no man can close them. Now to answer your question, Julius, I work with Savannah Technical College. We're going into prison. I was in Coastal yesterday. We're going into prison, working with instructors to teach people welding, logistics, and manufacturing, and providing a year worth of support for you for individuals that's incarcerated once they get out. So we going in the tank, formerly incarcerated, ex-convict, going in the tank. I'm walking off in the dormitories, encouraging brothers to sign up for logistics, welding, and manufacturing. So when they get out, we shooting them right on into employment, shooting them right on into whatever housing is available, shooting them right on into helping them get the resources that they need. And I always emphasize to the brothers, none of this was here. Or when have you been in a camp in any chain gang, especially in Georgia, where you see civilians walking around, and I'm in there with my brims on, Julius, walking around talking about they providing programming for you. So the restorative justice model and approach, the needle is being moved, and we need all boots on the ground to help with that so that we can continue to help brothers be successful.
Okay, now this way you come in, Bruce, and right now I want to give a shout out to Fred because today is Fred's birthday. So shout out to you, bro, for spending this time with us, just to share what we got going on. Bruce, right now you doing the same thing in Atlanta, what Fred is doing here in Savannah. So you started out by saying he changed your mind, your heart, then he changed your mind, and then it followed now in your lifestyle. Let us know what you're doing as well.
All right. When I said God changed my heart, changed my mind, and changed my walk, he put a love of self in me. He changed my heart to where I love myself. And once I started loving myself, show that he allowed me to love myself, I was able to love the Lord. I was able to appreciate.
Oh man, is he freezing up on us? Oh, okay. Forgive us for the technical difficulty. as we get Bruce back in. Fred, Tisha says
Mhm.
happy birthday, and she
Yeah,
says amen. You
That
got that right. You got.
and
Are you back in with us now, Jit?
yeah,
Okay, you froze up for a moment. Go ahead.
yeah, I didn't want to let God down or let myself down. So he changed my mind state. So my focus wasn't on trying to hustle and money, even on in the prison system. And then that went to my walk. So I stopped doing the things that I was doing before. It wasn't an overnight thing. It just he took the taste away from me. I
yeah,
didn't crave gambling. I didn't crave smoking weed and just going through the system. I crave to be a righteous man. I crave to be an example. And I truly believe that your actions is the loudest voice that you have.
Mhm.
Because in the prison system, they get news before the news get news. So they watching us, and I didn't want to be one of those guys. I'm in there preaching positiveness and preaching God, and come out here and I'm back on the corner. And like the brother said, when I came out, there were programs. I came out in 2009. I'm not eligible for food stamps because of a conviction, a drug conviction in the 80s. So I'm not eligible for any federal programming. So I had to start at the bottom, working at McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's, Wendy's, and Captain D's at the same time because in my mind state it was at the time I think I was making $7 an hour. So by working those three jobs at the same time, I was making $21 an hour.
that's right. That's right. That's
If
right.
they didn't want to, if they didn't want to give me $21 an hour somewhere, I'd get my own $21 an hour. And like the brother said, if you treat the hustle mentality that you had doing the wrong things and apply it toward doing the right things, you will see more fruits than you ever imagined.
That's right. That's right.
And coming out here with no support system for it outside of family, but family, it get your newness get old quick.
That's right. Hmm.
After doing 20 some years, yeah, everybody happy to see me, but I'm one more person that's one more bill. So
That's
when
right.
are when you gonna get your stuff together and get on your own?
That's right.
So I didn't want to
Quickly.
be a burden on anybody. So I focus on work, and I met a lot of positive brothers on the inside that I consider closer than my biological family, like Julius and Greg Washington and uh, a lot of brothers that helped me spiritually. And a lot of these brothers are younger than me, but they were more mature than I was. And so we counseled and guided each other. And I got in contact with Mr. Greg Washington and at the City of Refuge. And we continued our fellowship out here. And he introduced me to Miss Deborah Daniels, the founders of OAA, which stands for Offender Alumni Association.
Mhm.
And we are a group of returned citizens with one mind, one single goal to cut out recidivism. And the ultimate goal is we want to, through our actions, we want to shut some prisons down. Right now, we're in Metro Reentry uh, Center, uh, formerly Metro State Prison, and we just went into Metro Women's Transitional Center, which is actually next door. We do a live forum every Tuesday night from 6 to 7 at the City of Refuge here in Atlanta. And we do several other groups with several other organizations here. We work with Project Safe Neighborhood through the U.S. District Attorney's Office, the Northern District. So we're making moves that somebody, I mean, 10 years ago, you'd have never thought that a man serving a life sentence will have a badge to walk into the prison and teach guys how to stay out.
Let's stay out. That's right.
But what's more effective, this person to put an alarm on a house is an ex-burglar because he knows how to break into that house. He knows where the soft spots are. So we're like that ex-burglar. We broke the system. 9 times out of 10, if you tear something up, you know how to put it back together.
I like that. I like that.
That's right.
So listen, okay, so now we know that where you are now, both of you gentlemen, you are fixing the problem or helping to change perspective, but also helping to change the narrative. I want to digress for just one moment and ask, are you remembering those that are still behind the bars? Can you speak to that for a moment? Because I know for myself, I don't want to forget. A lot of people, when they come out of prison, they automatically say, I want to forget that part of my life. But there are still right now men and women who are ready to come home mentally, they're ready, educational wise, they're ready, physically, they're ready. But there's some, because of some things like housing, there's no affordable housing for them to come, no other issues. I want to speak to that for a moment. Fred, you start. Are you thinking about those that we left behind, and what are you doing to help?
Oh man, I told you I just walked off in the tank. Man, I had the most profound moment that I had was just this week. I talked to this guy. He been down 28 years now, and I was telling him about the stuff, and he got an elbow. So I was telling him, man, I know people that's out on an elbow. Your time coming. I was giving him that installation of hope. As a clinical social worker, some people may be hopeless, but we provide hope through this platform. We provide hope by going back in there. And they can tell through my language and my lingo, I ain't had to go in there and announce that I had already been, that I've been incarcerated. They know, they can feel my passion. And the guy said, man, the stuff that you telling me, he said, man, I've been down 28 years and I ain't never heard this type of positivity. And I couldn't believe it. He said, man, I ain't nobody coming here talking to us positive like what you just, I had a crowd around me. He said, man, we ain't heard this type of positivity. And he said, I've been down 28 years. So I want to encourage them that it is hope. That is people. When I go in there, I talk to them and tell them that it is people out here that's working and advocating, that's changing the perception, changing the narrative, and helping to get new laws and new legislation and new policies put on the book that will help people when they get out and will keep people from going in. We, like the brother said, dismantling and closing printers. I want to do it. Not only that, I want to dismantle this pipeline.
Mm.
You
Explain
know,
that pipeline. What do you mean by
that
pipeline?
I'm talking about that school to prison pipeline. I'm talking that pipeline we was in that we didn't even know we was in. That pipeline that where they test off of probably second grade scores now. And they determine that pipeline where parents going to get their children on psychological evaluations instead of the teachers knowing how to teach them and getting them on psychotropic medications that cause people to wind up in the system.
Gotcha.
That pipeline of poverty that causes when you're back up against the wall, then the only thing you could do is come out swinging, and that's by any means necessary. And in the pipeline too, Julius, is the perception that people that get out don't stay out. You know, we got to change that narrative because I would venture to say that it's just as many success stories than it is those that recidivate. But if I keep promoting recidivism, that's how your DAs stay in, get their careers. That's how your prosecuting attorneys get their careers. That's how your public defenders get their careers. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If I think that all the people that come from the community that look like me and all they do is get locked up and there is no hope, then I'm going to operate in that. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So we changing that. We giving hope and saying that you can do it. I am a success story. I'm not a statistic. I am a success story, and you are a success story too. I don't care if you've been out 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, like the brother Bruce said, you've been out 13 years. It's people that believe that nobody don't be out 13 years. And it's people that got the power, to the decision-making power, who believe that. No. We say no longer. We say there's just as many people that are successful faces and voices of reintegration. And we're here. We're going to change laws. We're going to change policies. And we're going to give people a new direction.
That's what I'm talking about. Bruce, I want you to weigh in on that. Tell us an event that when you went back into Metro, what was a profound moment for you when you went back in Metro or when you helped some of the brothers that have come out and you saw a transformation in their lives? Tell us a story.
Well, let me back up a little bit, just give a little background.
Mm-hmm.
I am the father of an incarcerated as well.
Okay.
My son is serving 40 years straight. He and I have never been on the same side of the fence because he was born after I was incarcerated. So that's one part of my motivation. Another thing is I am one of the elbow guys. You know, I'm one of the lifers that's out here making it. Right. Statistically, they say that an individual who's been incarcerated will reoffend within 3 years. We knocking that out the box.
For sure.
And so not only are we changing the narrative.
Oh, again, forgive us for this technical difficulty. Start back over when you said not only are we changing the narrative, start from there.
Not only are we changing the narrative, we're changing the mind state of incarcerated individuals and individuals on the outside who want to help incarcerated individuals, because we're showing that not all guys coming out are monsters. Not all guys coming back to the same circumstances. And what we do with our different organizations is we ensure that the education level is brought up to par. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. That they are employable, mm-hmm. that they have trades and job skills, that they have available counseling. And that's what we're doing. We're knocking out the park. A moment for me, going into Metro, when I went in, and there were guys who served time with me. And as I walked in, they was looking at me, and at the time, back then we weren't allowed beards and stuff. So, and they were like, "Man, you look like the dude named Jit." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm Jit." And they were like, "How?" I say, "Through God." I said, "That's the only answer I could give you." I say, "God," because I said I'd never step foot in a prison again. and God told me, "Yeah, you will.
Yes,
but you will back out." And that's the thing. And going in there, I didn't have to say much, because there were guys who started their sentence with me when I was doing wild things. And there were guys that I met, as I came to the latter part of my sentence, that saw the positiveness. But as I walked in there and they saw, well, this guy has a life sentence, he's out, and he willingly comes in here so that we can make it. So my action is louder than anything that I could have verbally said.
Okay.
And what I tell The word is one of the most is the most powerful thing on the face of the earth. In the Bible, it states, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was of God." Yeah, word. Martin Luther King physically is no longer here, but his word is still here.
Mm-hmm. I
So
like
I let my walk be my word. I go in there, I tell them I don't sugarcoat it with them. And like the brother said, I use the lingo, and a lot of guys know me or whatever. And I tell them it's not an easy process. You got to get out of the mind state that society owes us something. We made choices out there, and we had to suffer the consequences. But
correct.
but now that we're out here and we're making positive choices, we should be able to function as a returned citizen, meaning we shouldn't have to go through the struggle of, well, you can't get a job because you committed a crime 20 years ago. You shouldn't have to go through not being able to have housing because of a mark on your record. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're here for. We're paving the road. We got that steamroller and we knocking down.
He said we got that steamroller and we're knocking it down.
That's right.
While we getting it back because we lost you for just a second there. Bruce Fred, I want you to tell me, and then Bruce, you behind him. Have you met resistance? And I'm talking about from those of the old mindset that they see you as who you were. And is there a moment? I know I'm catching both of you off guard, but is there a moment when you saw a transformation in the mindset of the community or of the leaders that once thought of us differently, and you're working with them now? Fred, you
Man,
start.
we sit on all kind of committees, Julia. We sit with the mayor, we sit with all these different people, right?
Mhm.
I constantly see that paradigm shift. I'm tell you something that I use the most. I like to say that when I talk to these individuals, I was recently speaking on a chapter with the SHRM chapter. These are HR hiring professionals. So they make the decisions. So I asked her, I said, how many of y'all detest people that are classified as child abusers? The whole room hand went up, right?
Right.
I told them, I said, well, don't you know that if you get in an argument with your spouse and somebody call the police, you don't have to physically touch your child is there. You could get charged with child neglect, child abuse, and child endangerment. How many of y'all done got in an argument with your spouse in front of your child and all their hands went down? That's how fast you could get a charge put on you. You could leave dysfunction from drinking 2 glasses of wine, get pulled over, get a DUI, and now you a justice impacted person.
Exactly.
The Frankenstein was not the monster. It was the doctor. His name was Dr. Victor Frankenstein.
Exactly.
So changing the mindset, and when I say that, I can see their whole paradigm. I shift everything from the front to the back. And so when you talking to these individuals, you got to let them know, from when we did policy implementation, they need to do a true analysis of the nature of crime. Not all sex offenders are child molesters. It's some people just got railroaded by the system. But the narrative is that it's a kitchen sink approach. All sex offenders are child molesters. That's not true.
Right.
So proper education and the stuff that we are able to share with them is what we are able to use in order to help change the narrative so we can open up this door. So yeah, there's always resistance, Julius, but just like a real home invasion, we doing it on the other side of the spectrum. We doing home invasions. We kicking in doors. We opening up doors of opportunity. If they don't want to open up the doors of opportunity, we jumping through the windows on them. And let me share one more thing with you. I'm gonna share something I just got. I was in Coastal State Prison. So today I just got this award. I didn't know I was gonna get this award.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This came from Savannah Technical College. Everybody could see it. The reason why I got this award is said for exemplary service. While going to a dormitory to get a person out that didn't come to one of our participatory, he was in the logistic program. We went in, I was going down in the tank to get him out. A guy came out the dorm with a metal object and was just going at his arm, cutting his arm. I'm suicidal and I'm homicidal. He was cutting. Me and another colleague, we jumped into action. Hey man, stop. Take a deep breath. It's gonna be all right. My mama, my wife won't answer my calls, and my daughter just said she don't want nothing else to do with me. My stomach blowing up because these folks keep feeding me bread, and I'm on a gluten-free diet. Nobody ain't paying attention to me. No, stop for a second. I'm paying attention to you. Take a deep breath. Life, you can make it. You could do it. Come on, let's walk the medical. My colleague, she had worked in the prison 15 years. We talking this man. We was able to retrieve the item. Get him the medical. Get him on his medication so he could stable out. That's the installation of hope. Guess what? The whole compound watching us do that. So those that was in the compound that were resistant to the program, now they running up to me for the program.
Okay, then.
So that's from the inside to the outside. I want to say there is hope. Don't let nobody make you think that you can't make it in there or out there. Out here. You can do it because God is no respect of person. Just like he done it for me, just like he done it for Bruce, just like he done it for Julius. He wish above all things that you be in good health and and prosper, even as your soul prospereth.
Exactly.
I'm talking about. Now listen, as we are turning the corner, because we're nearing the end, Bruce, I want you to come in because we got three audiences. We have, Fred Teacher said, your passion for better is through the roof. Keep that motivation and that passion because it can be felt through you. Bruce, I want you, as we're turning this corner, I want you to speak to the audience, and you choose which audience you desire to speak to. We got men and women that's still on the inside, and there are men in just a jail in prison that can hear this podcast. Or you can speak to those returning citizens who have either just come home or have been home, but they're struggling. Or the third audience, you can speak to the community, those that are on the fence. Do we help? Are they the same? I want you to speak right now to any audience that you choose and encourage. This is your time. Go for it.
Yes, I like to speak to everybody. To those who straddle the fence, I say this. If a person is warehoused, meaning they go in and do 20 years and come back out, they're worse than they were. Without programs and groups like we have, that's what happens. So I don't understand the mind state of society when they think of that. I would rather a person be educated with employable job skills and access to psychiatrists if need be, and support forums of like individuals who've been through the struggle, who's been through the mud, and now they're clean. To those of you who are recently returned and you're struggling, it's gonna be a struggle. But never forget where you came from. And know that when you make it, you bring hope to somebody else.
Right.
Know that the days can get long, But look how long the days were on the inside.
Truth.
Think about when we were working for a pack out. When you looking at this job and said don't pay enough, we were working for peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Don't forget the road you travel. Because if you don't forget the road you travel, you're less likely to travel that road again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I like that. All right, Fred, you speak to that audience, whoever you choose, and encourage them and even edify them and educate them if necessary. Go ahead.
Man, I'm gonna hit it like this. I take this for everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
James 1. Consider it pure joy, brethren, that counts as women too. When you go through divers trials and tribulation, knowing that the testing of thy faith worketh perseverance, and perseverance bring forth patience, which is a fruit of the spirit, not fruits. Fruit is all one. Brings forth patience that you may be complete, not lacking anything. So you got the trials and the tribulations first. Then you got to persevere through the trials and the tribulations. Then there's patience, but you got to have patience. Then you will be complete, not lacking anything. Second thing, that's for everybody. Second thing, this is for everybody too. I like to give this speech called Don't Give In to Unrealistic Expectations and Societal Demands. What does that mean? That means that I don't care who it is. Mama, brother, sister, aunts, uncle. If anybody putting an unrealistic expectation on to you, then it's all right not to have that energy around you. It's all right to feed them with a long handled spoon. It's all right to say to them, hey, I'll bounce back on you because guess what? Right now, you're not encouraging, you're not helping me, you're not uplifting me. So guess what? I'm going to put you in a transactional category. Don't give in to that. Nobody can say to you that you could make up for the time that you lost. You can't do it. Shoes tear up. Clothes wear out. Toys tear up. The most important thing is you can spend time with your children from where you're at. Don't let baby mama, wife, whoever talk about, so I held it down this long while you've been gone, however you've been gone, and you need to catch up. You tell them to pump their brakes. I got a lot of barriers I got to face, and guess what? If you ain't trying to enhance what I'm doing, then you need to sit down and let me handle this. Second thing is societal demand. Don't let nobody tell you by 35, put pressure on you by saying by 35, you need to have this. You're supposed to be married. You're supposed to have a house. You're supposed to have all this stuff that society tells. The colonel didn't start KFC till he was over 65. There is no telling when God will open up a door for you. I was taught in the streets, you stay down till you come up. You live without risk. You live without risk. And God will open up doors for you that no man could shut. And shut doors in your life that no man will have to open up again for you. So don't give in to unrealistic expectations society demand. Society could say one thing, but they're not the final say. God is. And he's full of grace, mercy, and long suffering. And he will take you places. If you put your trust in him, just like Bruce said, and I know, Julius, I know you walk it every day. If you put your trust, because y'all supposed to be institutionalized. Y'all ain't supposed to be able to do nothing like this, Bruce and Julius. The devil is a lie. God said yay, and that was it.
That's it.
That's it. I like that. Well, look, as a man of faith and as a minister, I love this program because, we get men and women of God who have come out and are now still in the trenches, boots on the ground, and they are ministering, they are motivated, they are helping, and that's what we're doing. Bruce, Tisha says, she said, yes, Bruce, never forget where you come from. That's a strong statement. And gentlemen, I just want to thank you for coming on tonight, for motivating, for encouraging, for educating, for empowering our audience, especially those returning citizens. and our brothers and sisters that are still behind the bars. Look at us. I'm talking about not only verbally are we a testament and a hope, but even visibly we are a testament of hope. You can do it too. Again, 26 years, and now look where I am with an opportunity to help a platform to change the narrative. You know, I always say this before we close. We may have all started out wrong, but look at us now. We are finishing strong. So again, we appreciate you for being on the show with us tonight. Tisha, and those of you that have read in and that I see you over there, my partner, Antavius Miller. Appreciate you. Shouts out to you as well. Thank you. We'll see you again. Oh, Bruce, I'm sorry you was frozen.
Bruce has something he want to say.
Yeah, one more thing I'd like to say. I don't know how I forgot to mention this, but when I came home, I brought God with me.
Yep.
You know, I didn't leave him in there.
That's right.
I brought him with me.
I did too.
And that's one of the key factors.
That's right.
For me.
That's true for all three of us, and not just all three of us, but there are others that we're going to get on this show to tell their story as well, that we brought him home with us. Thank you again. We'll see you next week on another edition of Incarceration to Incorporation, or Ain't the Ain't. Be blessed, and we'll talk to you next week. Good night. Thanks, gentlemen.
God bless.
Like that.